Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us here for KREM 2 News at 5. I'm Whitney Ward.
And I'm Tom Sherry. Mark Hanrahan is off today. Well, today, voters in Idaho are going to decide on nearly $300 million for school levies in 46 different school districts across the state.
So to kick off our special election coverage tonight, we are now sending things over to Casey Decker, who has more details on this levy tonight. Casey?
Well, Whitney, Tom, I'm at Lake City High School, one of the many polling places across Kootenai County. And so far this afternoon, we haven't seen a huge influx of voters. That's pretty typical. Usually these special elections, these off-season elections, don't have very high turnout. But we have seen a fairly steady stream both here at Lake City High School and earlier today at the Kootenai County Election Center. You can see behind me here this voting polling place in precinct 42 and 43. This is one of the precincts where people will be voting on, like you mentioned, that Coeur d'Alene School District levy. Now, that levy would actually decrease the current property tax rate from $179 per $1,000 of property value to $171, even though it'll still raise $20 million a year. That's the same amount current levy that's expiring raises. That's because so many people have moved into the district, property values have gone up, so they can actually lower that tax rate. Now, even with that decreased rate, there's still a substantial number of people who would prefer to reject the levy and eliminate that property tax altogether. And of course, there's also a substantial group of people who are supporting this levy. This levy funds about 25% of the district's budget. It pays for everything from teacher salaries to school resource officers, arts and after school programs. So it's a pretty big deal. These levies have been passed by this district every year since 1986. Every 2 years is when these levies expire. So they're hoping to see another successful election tonight. We'll see the outcome in a few hours later on this evening. Reporting live in Coeur d'Alene tonight, Casey Decker, KREM 2 News.
Good information, Casey. Thank you very much for the update. And new tonight, more people are now eligible for the coronavirus vaccine in Idaho. Today, state health officials said the demand for vaccines is going down. So vaccine providers say although they are getting more doses each week, fewer people are signing up for those appointments.
We've steadily seen an increase in the vaccine supply we've been receiving. So that's really allowed us to move forward in the phases, which is great.
Kootenai Health is saying anyone who is 18 to 64 who lives or works in Idaho and has at least one increased risk of medical condition is now eligible for the vaccine to make an appointment at one of those clinics. Examples of an increased risk medical condition would be Down syndrome, high blood pressure, or obesity, as well as cancer. Scattered rain showers pretty much expected across the inland northwest today and tomorrow. Tom is back now with a little bit more on this rain. I'm curious how much rain we'll have versus how much sunshine.
Very little. It's just going to be some passing showers at times. Really overall, Whitney, I want you to think of this forecast as pretty darn great. We're going to be looking for, again, a few snow showers possible overnight, but really mild temperatures this week with partly cloudy skies, a chance of a passing afternoon shower, but temperatures will be in the high 40s to the lower 50s, especially as we get into Friday and the weekend. Right now we're at cloudy skies, a little bit of a shower happening in the Spokane area, 42 degrees. The current temperature, wind is out of the east at 7 miles per hour. We'll generally look for partly cloudy skies this evening, some patchy fog forming in the overnight hours, lows dipping down to 26, and then partly cloudy tomorrow. Chance of another afternoon shower around maybe 4 p.m. We'll look for a daytime high of 49. Then as we head into the weekend, right now it looks like Saturday might be the warmest day of our week with a high temperature of 54 degrees. We'll look for partly cloudy skies on Sunday and a high of 49. I'll check the rest of your 7-day forecast in a couple of minutes.
Tom, thank you. Several Eastern Washington superintendents are asking Governor Jay Inslee to consider relaxing the 6-foot physical distance requirement in schools. Public, private, and charter superintendents sent that request in a letter regarding next school year. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley explains now why those leaders say these planning discussions can't wait but need to happen now.
This is what the halls of North Central High School look like in passing period. 2-lane directions marked in the hallway is a practice seen at many SPS middle and high schools, with students back in class. They are on a hybrid schedule to ensure enough room for social distancing, but many districts are already preparing for what school will look like when all students return to class.
I think the vast majority really do want to be able to serve all of their kids in as safe a way as possible.
Michael Dunn is the superintendent of Northeast Washington Educational Service District 101. It helps serve the interests of public school districts, private and charter schools in the region. Several district superintendents sent a letter asking to Governor Jay Inslee to consider relaxing social distance requirements in schools. Dunn explained this request needs to be addressed soon because it partly correlates with teacher contracts expiring this year.
A superintendent shared on our weekly call this morning, they're going to bring all their 4th and 5th graders back after spring break. In order to do that and meet 6 feet of physical distancing, they're going to have to hire additional teachers. So in order to plan both space and staffing, we really need to have this information.
In the letter, school leaders cite the American Academy of Pediatrics article that says 6 feet between students is not feasible without limiting the number of students in class. It found some countries have been successful reopening class with a 3-foot distance between students without increases in community spread.
So this really isn't about just willy-nilly, we want to jam all kids into the school or all kids into a classroom.
While Spokane Public Schools is a member of the new ESD 101 district, Superintendent Adam Swinyard did not sign the letter. SPS has not yet explained why. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
And today, Governor Inslee visited Robert Frost Elementary School in Pasco, Washington. His visit was to see the school's success in returning to on-site learning. Inslee called their efforts really inspiring.
I'm here to learn from you, to learn about your successes, in part so I can share it with other schools. Other schools have not been able yet to achieve the success that you have had, giving an option of on-site instruction for your parents.
Schools near Pasco have held in-person classes with children for weeks now without any widespread outbreaks of the virus. Governor Inslee has toured schools and vaccination clinics throughout the state of Washington during the recovery process of the coronavirus pandemic. And today, Inslee also visited the mass vaccination site located in Kennewick.